Well, we certainly did expect Australia to come hard at Bangladesh with their trio of pacers in Stark, Hazelwood, and Cummins. Certainly, Hazelwood and Stark did do a bit of a job on them, but it was Adam Zampa with 5 wickets who's ended up becoming the hero for Australia. So it wasn't just pace. Bangladesh have been done in by the leg spin of Zampa. 5 for 19 in his 4 overs. Could have had a hat trick. Was denied when it was spilled by Matthew Wade, but he'll still be delighted with his 5 wicket haul. Not even any batsman getting to 20 runs. Shamim Hussain looked good while he was there for 19. Naeem looked good while he was there for 17. And I think that has been the story of Bangladesh's batting. Looking good while they're there, but not there for long enough. Let's assess the innings on Cricbuzz Live. Coming together far sooner than we expected. Joy, Harsha. But we were probably expecting them to bat somewhere close to 20 overs, even if they didn't get a big total.
Should we? Should we? I mean, this is extraordinarily poor cricket. 84 all out last game, 73 all out now. It's almost as if they're turning up with hope, saying, okay, if it happens, it happens. I mean, we're all looking for something good to say in Bangladesh because we are cricket lovers, but it is very, very difficult to find something genuinely encouraging to say, because we mentioned in Combox there was this period when Naeem hit a couple of boundaries, Mahmudullah hit a couple of boundaries, but as batsmen you're supposed to know, and yet we were excited that somebody hit boundaries, and then 73 all out. I mean, there's a reason I said they've been the most disappointing team of this tournament, even more so than some of the teams that fell out. I thought Ireland were a little disappointing, even more so than Ireland have been Bangladesh in this tournament.
Yeah, and if you have a look at that, the only thing that they don't have in a double-digit innings is a telephone number sequence. Often when teams are bowled out for a small total, we see that, but they had little bits of hope from Shamim, from Mahmudullah, up front from Mohammad Naeem, but at the end of the day, it was a procession, even though we didn't have that joy.
Joy, you're on mute.
That's
a very strong statement of what you yourself think of what you say.
Yeah, it's a politically, as I said, completely different, difficult comment to make, because absolutely. And some of the batting that we saw today was batting that you see after a long time, like Mustafizur, the way he was batting to Stark, it's what we call square leg umpire batting, that you sort of move towards square leg and try and have a swing. That's not international cricket. You don't see so much of that anymore, even when associate sides like Afghanistan play. And it was just a pity to see how they went down. They just went down without a fight. I mean, I thought Shamim gave a bit of fight, maybe a little bit from Mahmudullah, but nobody else just stood up to be counted. They'll have to look at this. There has to be some serious thinking, because Tamim, even Mahmudullah is 35, 36 himself. None of these people are going to be a part of this team. Shakib, for too long, they have to start building. And if Shamim is the only person from that Under-19 World Cup team, where are the others? And are they being tracked towards the team? Those are the kind of questions we have to ask ourselves.
Harsha, you briefly mentioned about what happened in their last match, double digits twice in a row. We saw a team like Scotland when they were almost embarrassed against Afghanistan, but that was a small period. They hadn't played the likes of Mujib and Rashid before, but they came back strongly. Look at their performance against New Zealand. That's what you want to see from an associate or a developmental or any side.
Remember, if Bangladesh don't have another game after this, they are on number 9 on the rankings. They don't yet have immediate qualification into the next T20 World Cup. So there's a lot playing here on Bangladesh. I hope they're genuinely disappointed. I hope they don't start pointing fingers at each other when they go, but understand that they now need an overall. Their team has won an Under-19 World Cup. So I'm sure they can come back. What they can do for a start is come out with spirit and say, you know what, forget the result of this game. But me Mustafizur, me Taskin, I want to show me Mahedi. I want to show I can get wickets. Let's knock 5 over. Let's not knock 6 over. But let's go and say, you know what, we play.
Yeah, and that's they need to pretty much do to Australia what Australia did to them. Let's have a look at how the wickets fell. It was damage early on in the power play. But then when we had a Cricbuzz Combox couple of minutes, we saw they had actually recovered and scored in excess of 50 in those 10 overs. They were looking good, putting a partnership together. And then once Shamim fell, it was one of those things in a situation, Harsha, when people are being bamboozled by the leg spin or by the pace. Mahmudullah, their best batsman, tickles one down the leg side.
Yeah, but the partnerships we are talking about are 29 and 22. Those are the partnerships we are talking about. We are not talking of one partnership of 55-60 in a total of 85-90. We're talking of 29 and 22. What is the kind of bowling that Bangladesh, you would imagine, would be happier facing, which is the slow turning ball. The slow turning ball's given 5. Where has Zampa got the wickets? He's got 2 caught Finch, 1 caught Wade, 1 LBW. They've not read him at all. So he's every time the left-hander comes in, look at the caught Finches and caught Wade, okay? Shamim Hussain, left-hander, caught Wade. Mustafizur caught in the deep. Shariful caught Finch. And there was one other who was caught Finch. Afif Hussain caught Finch. All the left-handers, he's just bowling wrong runs to them. They're edging. So you would expect that a Bangladesh player who plays league with 14, 15 overs of spin would be able to read that. And I don't want to say I told you so, but we had said when they were winning all those games at home, it's all very well to win at home. It's going to come in the way of winning overseas. And it's not that this is a fiery track. It's not that there's a track where the ball is going by your ears or it's zipping across off the track. No. And still they've been 84 all out. No, not even 80. That was the other day, 73.
Yeah, you can't get confused when you do it twice in a row.
Yeah.
But Joy, how do you explain this? Because as I said, maybe a couple of dismissals against South Africa, raw pace, Anrik Nokia, Rabada was bowling at his best. You can justify it. You can say this is why we got out. What would you justify to a leg spinner, no matter how good he is?
Yeah, to Bangladeshi batsmen, in conditions who have been brought up on spin, giving 5 wickets to Adam Zampa, and this is nothing to take away from Adam Zampa. He's an absolutely fantastic bowler, but they've grown up on spin, and left armers edging to first slip on the wrong arms is not. It's not even that he turns the wrong arm that substantially much. His main ball is not the wrong arm, and that's what I'm saying. That this is a team that they're walking around like zombies. Even when Mahmudullah was out, he walked, and it was a good gesture because anyway he knew there were 2 refused. But if you had to look at his face and look at the way he was walking out, he was totally resigned to his fate. And that's what you don't want to see. You want to say the game is not yet over. The tournament may be over for you. The game is not over. You have some of the best fans in the world around the world. You get support wherever you go. They're eager to watch you. And they'll applaud you even if you lose, provided you show them fight. But today, Bangladesh didn't give them fight. And that is the tragedy for me.
Yeah. And now, I'm South Africa watching this. The other people are watching this. And they're saying, Australia, take your time, take your time, take your time. What Australia want is to knock this off in 10 overs, really. Australia want to knock this in 10 overs.
To be exact, Harsha, I believe the calculation is 8.1.
8.3.
8.1 is what they need to do, which they'll reliably, presumably, have been informed. South Africa plus 0.742, Australia minus 0.627, but that is going to jump very quickly, and they're going to go ahead of South Africa if, of course, they get it in 8.1, and I'm certain if they know of it.
So let's see what happens. I know we can look at it post-game as well based on what happens. But if you put that points table up, if they get it in 8.1 overs, they go above. So even if South Africa then beat England, all Australia have to do is win their last match against the West Indies, their last match?
It is, yeah.
So then it'll be who wins by a bigger margin. Yeah. But whoever wins by a bigger margin.
Yeah.
In South Africa, England versus West Indies, Australia, those 2 margins will then become important. That's all.
True. But if Australia are already ahead on net run rate of South Africa, both teams win. It's dependent on the margins, correct? Yeah, you're right.
So it's not all lost, but what it does mean is that if both teams were to lose, then it gives Australia that cushion that they've got over the net run rate. They can slip up against the West Indies. Yeah. South Africa lose to England, which is a likely result.
It'll be a question of how much you lose by.
But again, it's how much you lose by.
How much you lose by.
Again.
Yeah.
But they'll do themselves well. They'll want to go ahead at this stage in time. And again, this whole thing that you can be 74 for 5, it doesn't matter, or 74 for 6 for that matter, and it's as good a win as 74 for no loss or 1. they'll just go for it. They'll motor for it. They'll absolutely just go for it. And the other thing to say is that Adam Zampa's bowling, and you look at it, he's got against Sri Lanka, he's got 2 for 12. Against South Africa, 2 for 21. 5 for 19 today. At this point in time, for me, he's a bowler of the tournament. I mean, the way he's got his wickets, and he's always got them with that economy rate. The one team that has carted him is England. He's gone for 4 for 37, 1 for 37 against them in his 4. They're the only people who have attacked him consistently and given him trouble. But this is an outstanding. Of course, they allowed him to settle in. They allowed him to get his length, which is what the England batsmen very successfully fought against. They didn't allow him to settle down in any kind of length. So, but right now, Zampa is looking, one of the players of the tournament for me.
The only other rider to this entire discussion that we have, Harsha, is the schedule. On the 6th of November, Australia play the West Indies in the afternoon. So that'll be done and dusted. Assuming today they get it in 8.1 and they get ahead of South Africa on net run rate. South Africa have then the advantage of playing later to know that, of course, if it's about avoiding defeat, how much to avoid by. If it's about winning, how much to win by.
The mind goes back to a day in Durban in 2007 when South Africa had 2 targets in front of them, 1 to qualify, 1 to win. And in trying to go for the target to qualify, they fell short of both. So they could be in a situation here where Australia have beaten the West Indies. Australia may get these in 10 overs today. So they're behind. Then Australia beat the West Indies, but they're still slightly behind where South Africa are. South Africa will then have 2 targets against England. No, I mean, they'll have to win. I'm running ahead of the script. If Australia win, they'll still have to win. I thought I was getting very cute with my numbers, and then I looked at Joy, and he was saying, he's rolling his eyes.
Well, but what it basically means is South Africa will have the advantage of knowing what they need to do once whatever happens. So if it's about winning, it's about winning big. If it's about avoiding defeat, of course, winning gets them through anyway if Australia were to lose. But if there's a situation where they still need to avoid defeat by a narrower margin and still qualify.
That's the one I was heading at.
Yes.
That's what I'm heading at. If Australia lose to West Indies, West Indies, there's 2 targets for South Africa, not if Australia beat West Indies.
Except that run rate and targets have never been good friends of South Africa. If you look at history, they've never been good friends. From 92 onwards, 2003. I mean, Sean Pollock, the moment I say net run rate in front of him, even on Cricbuzz shows, he sort of winces because, it's just a word that he's just not.
The only rider there again is that rain was involved in most situations. So it was rain plus run rate. Here it's just the 2 hours. It's just run rate, and it's got to do with there's probably going to be no cloud seeding between now and then. So we're not going to have any rain in the desert, Harsha.
I'm still feeling stupid. I'm still feeling stupid about my Australia West Indies. Of course, if Australia lose to West Indies, only then the 2 targets come in.
Yeah, but that's okay. There's a lot of back and forth happening. We check the playing conditions. It's not head to head. It's net run rate first. So we've clarified all that. But again, that comes in the future. For now, our first target, or Australia's first target, 8.1. So it should be an exciting run chase.
Yes, and the power play, therefore, that is, I'll keep coming back to my point. I'm Bangladesh. I'm saying, look, I can't defend this score. But you know what? I'll show that I belong at this level. Let me take 3 wickets, 4 wickets. Let me make them struggle in the power play. Let me not give them what they want. I'm not standing up there to be overrun. I'm standing up there for you guys to say, you know what, I bowl. I'm Mustafizur Rahman. I'm a world-class bowler. I'm Taskin. I got pace. I'm Mehdi. I'm a good bowler. Go and show how good you are. Make Finch struggle. You know what? Warner's not in great form. I'll make Warner struggle. That is what team attitude is built on. If they say 84 guys, 70 guys, then they'll get this in 7 overs maybe.
Yeah, and something tells me that if that was the published batting order, it's not going to be coming true because Glenn Maxwell will be padding up, waiting to go. It's going to be hard from Warner, hard from Finch, hard from Maxwell.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all these guys will go one after the other. Maxwell, then Wade, Stoinis. Steve Smith will come in only after all these guys fail. I can't see him coming in anywhere before that.
And again, they won't worry about losing wickets. They'll just know they need to get the target in these few overs. And if you look at the context of 8.1, it's not exactly the easiest target in the world. If Bangladesh bowl with some discipline, it still is 9 runs and over, 74 to get an 8.1. So it still is some sort of a challenge and some sort of a game to talk about, as opposed to if they just had to knock off 73.
Yeah, I think they won 60 in the power play. They won 60 in the power play.
We
If
should
they
do
do
a
that.
power play
But-
context,
yeah.
considering what we did last time.
Okay.
Yeah, I
let's
tried
go
to go
power play.
low. I tried to go low. I was tempted to go into two figures, but I said out of politeness, I'm sticking to 101. But yeah, power play prediction. How hard? 60? Harsha, you going for 60?
56.
56.
I'm going 56 in the power play.
I'm
Leave-
going 61.
Yeah, well, can it be any higher possibly? I'm sure it can be. 65. Why not? 65 in the power play. 10 and over. Go hard
Wow.
from ball one.
65. They'll have to bowl. Yeah, okay. Okay, let's see.
They'll just be throwing their bats at absolutely everything. I wouldn't even be
Actually,
surprised.
if you see Rohit Sharma's innings yesterday, India made 52 in the first 5 overs. They didn't slog at all. And if you see a lot of Rohit Sharma shots came like that. I mean, he hit one straight 6 and whatever, but they weren't slogging and they got 52 and 5. So you can get 55, 56 without slogging too, because there'll be so many gaps. Just keep hitting the gaps. I think it'll be interesting to see how they go against spin. So we'll wait and see.
Yep. And I
No
think
run on the
Bangladesh-
first ball.
Yeah, I think Bangladesh will be just as aware of the fact that they have this target in mind for themselves. We hope they're aware of it. They'll know what Australia have to get, and their target will be to deny Australia. If there's a contest in their minds, why not? Go and deny Australia. Don't let them have their way. So it should be an interesting few overs. Chances are, with virtual certainty, I can say we're not going to be having Cricbuzz Combox in the second innings. We will be coming back to review the game, because if we are talking about a game...
The things this Joy does to not be on Combox.
Look at the smile. Anyway, what it does mean is around the same time as we would have come on Cricbuzz Combox, we should be back to assess this game, then take a bit of a break and look ahead to the evening game, which is West Indies, Sri Lanka. So lots to do. We'll be back in probably around 9 overs time. Look out for that. We'll see you on Cricbuzz Live.